hope you're all well today. So I'm carrying on with the 6 personal perspectives which we started on. We've done 2 segments. I'm now going to be doing the third. Today's one is about being learning based. So often when we're doing this in training, it's quite interesting to hear people's stories about being learning based. I always use a very funny example. So I went out and interviewed 2 very top agents that worked in an area in the northern suburbs in Cape Town, and sat down with them and had a long conversation with them. And they were adamant that they don't need a company that provides training because they feel like they know everything. They've been in the business for 15 years, they've been doing real estate for 15 years, and they felt like they knew everything, so nobody could teach them anything. And that absolutely astounded me, the fact that somebody can sit there and think that they don't have anything to learn. When the fact is that we all have something to learn, regardless of how we are in our status, in our career, in our lives, about any specific subject, whether it's cooking or learning about a sport or knowing about how to sell real estate. You never know everything. And so it's awesome when a company can actually offer you a lot of training. I work for Keller Williams, and at Keller Williams we have extensive training, all sorts of platforms where you can obtain this training as well, and it's continuous. So we do this on a regular basis, on a monthly basis. There are courses available, and I think it should be that way for pretty much anything we do in life. We never know everything, so we need to always be open to learning. So being learning based as an estate agent means that you participate in as much education and training and self-development that your company offers you, and even further that, go and do other courses externally. Always be trying to empower yourself. It's not a coincidence that successful people are learning based people. It really is not a coincidence that those people that are successful in life, whether it be in business or in their personal lives, are people that are continuously open to learning new things. So yes, there are various levels of learning pretty much anything that we do. We start at a certain state, and then we progress there from there. So you always start let's think about, as an example, let's say for instance driving. So when you were 18 and there's this vehicle and you want to learn how to drive, so you start off at a level, and that is being unconsciously incompetent. And that is pretty much when you don't know what you don't know, because you've never driven a car, so you've got no idea. And then you move on from that level, you move on to being consciously incompetent, knowing what you don't know, knowing that you don't know how to indicate, how to turn, how to parallel park, etc. So you're moving through the levels. The next level will be to be consciously competent. That is when you have acquired the skills of driving, for instance, and you know how to get from point A to point B, but you're consciously doing it. So you move from the first gear to second gear very consciously. You're checking the mirrors very consciously. You're indicating consciously, and then you move on to the ultimate level, which is being unconsciously incompetent, and that's basically the top level of learning something. And that is when you do things unconsciously. You can drive from point A to point B, and this happens to me often, and you don't actually know how you got there. You don't know what the steps were that took you from point A to point B, because you're doing it almost robotically. I always warn against that, and I've been told not to, but for me it's important that you keep yourself in check when you're at that level. And if you're a real estate agent and you've been doing it for 15 years and you've acquired all these skills and you feel like you're at that level, yes, that's fantastic, but there's always something new to learn. There's always more to learn. There's always other avenues, different ways of doing things, instead of just remaining stale in an environment. So yeah, that's being learning based. I urge you to go out and even if you want to join a library, as I have in my area, because it becomes really expensive buying all these books. But I often have 2-3 books on my counter by my bedside, and they're all self-empowerment books. They're all books about people that are successful, people that are doing things, sometimes doing the same thing I'm doing, but doing it better. And I think it's really important that you really spend a little bit of time empowering yourself every single day, just to make yourself a little bit better. And I encourage you to do that. So yes, being learning based is awesome. Have a great day.